Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all very much. We will move on to item number 2 of our agenda, which is public comments. We don't have any hearing today, so if you have anything you want to share at all, now would be the time. If you could please state your name, address, please.
Chris Waltz, 1370 Ruby Street. Now, I know that a couple of you will remember this, Janine and Jennifer, a few years ago when I came up here and made a suggestion that they create a planning commission email like they had for town council, and they did. But they never put any of you in as recipients. So every time you say that, oh, well, we haven't heard anything from the citizens, probably not true. It's just going to an email address that doesn't have any recipients on it, so it doesn't get forwarded. There were quite a few from this year. One from the town attorney, which I'm sure that you all would like those communications. But yeah, I mean, this is just kind of par for the course with the town and the way they do things. There's a lot of emails sitting in a box that have been sent to y'all about issues you're discussing from citizens, but I guess it's just a spam folder for comments that nobody really cares about, and that's unfortunate. As well, you know, I know that it's not an actual conflict, but you know, Mr. Bernard stands to have his household income increased here with a policy change for his wife's
You have
retirement.
that totally wrong.
We're going to go ahead and just let him finish speaking, and you can always correct
For his
him.
wife's retirement, they're considering a policy change. They just had a closed meeting that may or may not have been legal, but they had a closed meeting about it, and they are going to evidently change the policy for employment retirement, which is going to give Mr. Bernard there, and he's.
Let's talk more in general terms, okay?
Well,
that has
my
nothing
point
to
is
do with
that
this
he's been
meeting.
sitting in here doing the hard sell for this whole thing with the thing for them, the Public Works guys, that facility. He's been sitting in these meetings doing the hard sell for that, and doesn't bother to tell anybody that, you know, maybe I should just stay out of this because it could look bad. And that's exactly what was in the town attorney's email, that it could be an inference of a quid pro quo. May not be illegal, but it looks bad. Thank you.
Thank you. And we did get an email with that concern raised, and that went to the entire planning commission, so thank you for sharing that. I will give staff an opportunity once we move on if there's anything that wants to be clarified or any response to that. Any other public comments at this point?
Just basically make you aware, of course, we do have the schematics of the property on Simmons Road. Let you know they're available for any questions. We will look at moving the tanks. Jim has, I guess, a drawing of what the tank basically would look like, and it would be a double-lined tank, and also we would have it in the containment area as well. So just, I guess, like I say, with your hopefully consideration, ask for approval, and like I say, we're available if you have any questions.
Thank you.
And I guess a couple things of clarification with the drawings. The trees that are shown on the drawing are shown at a 10-year age, and they're at a height of 20 feet, and that's assuming like a Leland cypress or a white pine. But you know, basically we could go ahead and get started on planting trees right away, even though we don't plan on necessarily developing it for a few years.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comments at this time? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on to agenda number 3. Did everyone have a chance to review our minutes from last time? Any questions, edits, corrections? All right, can I get a motion to approve the Plan Commission minutes from November 18th?
I can make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, and with that, they are approved. So at this time, then, we're gonna go action, regarding the, items we've been discussing for the last two meetings regarding the rezoning, and then also the conditional use permit for the Dove property, located at 255 Simmons Road. Before we get into discussion regarding that, I did wanna see staff, if you have any, I do think it was relevant, cause there were concerns about conflict of interest, and so I think it would be helpful if there's anything that y'all want to share in regards to that, or concerns, or anything that we should note regarding the conflict of interest that was raised.
Reed did send a response email, and so, thank you. Also, I need to mention the mics to you, so don't let me forget that. But, did send a response email, and, there is no legal conflict. He can choose if he would like to participate or not.
Thank you.
And also, some of these microphones are having some issues, so if you all will speak kind of closely and clearly into them, we'd appreciate it. As Julian just reminded.
If they're listening, if they could let us know if it's like who's speaking that maybe they can't hear, they can let you know that, we can correct in the middle of the meeting. Thank you.
Probably heard that.
I'll try and say as close as I can. I'm never known to be told I'm quiet, but you never know. All right, thank you for the updated schematics. I did see that in the agenda packet, so that was helpful. Planning commissioners. This is now our third meeting. We have new information for this one. Questions, comments, anything y'all want to discuss before we take action on this item tonight?
I think seeing the schematic helps me to choose and decide a little bit better without, from what we had before, so I appreciate having that to look at.
Any questions that would be helped to be answered before we make a motion? Anything commissioners want to share with other commissioners that might be helpful as they make their decisions? I will say that regardless of what the outcome is from tonight, I do think that there has been a benefit to having these three meetings. I know it's kind of extended the process, but I feel like through it, we've got more clarification, there's been more time. I feel like the packet that is moving forward, whether with a recommendation or not to town council, is much more thorough. I think it gives more information to the residents to understand what's going on, I think for town council to make a decision. So I am actually really glad that we took the three different meetings for a more robust application. And so thank you, town, for continuing to answer our questions, provide more information, do a little bit more research. We always really appreciate that when the applicant is willing to put that time and energy in. So. All right, anything else before we make a motion?
I have one item.
Do you have to say your thing?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3112, Section B1, and 2.2-3115, Section H, I'm declaring that I'm a member of one of three or more businesses that may be affected by the agenda items as an owner of an electrical and electronic security contractor. I am able to participate in the discussion and voting on this matter fairly, objectively, and in the public interest.
All right.
I
Thank
have
you.
a comment.
Please.
I'd like to respond, to the allegations that have been presented. Normally, what he says doesn't bother me, because normally you don't get your facts straight to begin with. And it's proven with this case. It isn't just my wife that benefits from this change if they do it, it's all employees. They're not changing it just for her, they're changing it for all employees in the future if when they get ready to retire. Randy can probably speak better to that than I can, but I totally think the allegation is inappropriate, and once again, you don't have your facts straight. I suggest maybe you think about trying to get them straight before you open your mouth.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on from that topic, so thank you for taking the opportunity that you decided to respond. Any other comments before I hear a motion? All right, do I have a motion to either so we're gonna go ahead and do, their 4A first, because there's no point in doing 4B if the answer is not recommend. Do I have a motion to either approve or to recommend approval or to not recommend approval of 4A?
Recommend to approve 4A.
Second.
Oh, actually, hold one moment before we do that. I do want to, there were proffers that were recommended, so let me hold that approval before we take any action. Did the commissioners have any other conditions that they wanted to put on in addition to the proffers that were already listed? I forgot to clarify that one. Would you read them out? I can't see that. I have them on my laptop, but I don't have them there. If you could read those out to us, please, I'd appreciate it. And maybe the microphone, can you?
Yep.
Thank you.
The development will be in general conformity with the presented concept drawing dated November 8th, 2024 through building locations and driving aisles, though building locations and driving aisles may shift. The contract purchaser agrees to plant staggered double rows of evergreen trees at a minimum of 6 feet tall as indicated on the concept drawing. The contract purchaser agrees to place a minimum 6 foot tall fence with gates to close the facility or enclose the facility as indicated on the concept drawing. The project will reduce the existing peak rate of flow in the channel between Simmons Road Northeast and Teal Street Northeast for storms less than or equal to a 10-year storm event to a level less than the current flow rate. The town will widen Simmons Road Northeast from Roanoke Street to the northern entrance indicated on the concept drawing to a minimum of 24 feet in width, currently varying between 18 and 24 feet in width.
Thank you. So we cannot make any adjustments to the proffer, that's on the application's end, but are there any conditions that the commissioners want to discuss?
I don't have any.
So Randy, what you said about the trees, do we need to put anything in there that you could do the trees soon?
We would be willing to start basically as soon as I can get, we'd probably estimate, 500, some, 250 trees, rough guess is gonna be probably $15,000, it's something I'd probably like to budget for, although we can budget for it, I'm not sure we can ask for potentially if they don't even know what we probably will need to do on that this year. There's gonna be some, I guess, money in the, budget limit for land acquisition, but that's not necessarily the same, it's, we transfer from over. But we can do something fairly soon, at least begin in June, next fiscal year.
Would something like,
But at the very least, fall of next year.
would it be possible to say within 6 months of purchasing the property, or is that too soon? When you consider soon, what is it?
Within, let's say, within a year,
Because you don't plan to actually develop it, because they're gonna be leasing it through,
Right, but the sooner the trees get in,
The be-
the
yeah.
height for the neighbors around it is important. And of course, you don't want to plant, unless you can plant in the spring, you don't wanna do it again till fall, right? For the trees themselves, so,
usually spring to fall.
yeah.
I would say it might be, depending on whatever happens, maybe when it goes to town council, maybe instead of putting in a condition because we don't have control of the finances, maybe that could be something that you share with town council as provide more clarity on the budget and maybe a good faith effort that you can state at the next meeting.
I promise I'll try to make it.
Yeah. I don't wanna do something that is not possible. I don't wanna put a condition on there that we can't control.
If I can budget for it sooner, I will.
I think it's a great point. It's a good question. Anything else?
That's the only one I have.
All right, how about I get a restate of that noting application with the proffers that are stated? Could you try that again for me?
Okay, I make a motion to approve with the suggested profits that have been put forward.
for the rezoning of
For the
property two
rezoning.
55 Simmons Road. Okay?
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no? No. Any abstentions?
I need to go back to I.
Okay, aye. All right. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 ayes and 1 no. Is that correct, Commissioners? No abstentions? Okay. So the rezoning passes 4-1 with the proffers. Okay? With that then, it makes more sense to now move on. Can I get a recommendation for item 4B regarding the conditional use permit with those proffers for the property at 255 Simmons Road?
I'll make a motion to approve the conditional use permit at 255 Simmons Road, with the listed proffers.
Okay,
I second.
any conversation, discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no, nay, no. Any abstentions? All right, so at this time then, it will move to town council, which has already had their public hearing. But the town council will be taking action on the item on Tuesday, December 10th. Let me read the date, not the time like I did last time, the date. So for anyone who is here or for anyone who is watching online, if there's anything that you want shared, you'll want to go to the town council meeting on December 10th. The public hearing's already happened, but this would be the time that, if there's anything else you want town council to consider, you'd want to do that during the public comments time. So, and I think, town staff applicant, if there's anything y'all want to add, you would know that you'd want to make sure you make any adjustments or add that in during the public comments time. So, again, thank you applicant for the time that you put in for, adding and kind of updating and making a more robust application. We appreciate that. All right, at this time, we're gonna move on to, other business. And I do wanna kick off first with a discussion around the, email. Because we have made changes around the email process. So it used to be that all planning commissioners had email addresses through the town. As security has been heightened over the years, there were different challenges with planning commissioners having access to a town of Christiansburg email address, which also then made some changes with the planning commission listserv. So can you provide a little bit of insight regarding the 0 members on the planning commission listserv, how that works and how that gets out information to planning commissioners?
So I saw that there was 0 members, in the email that, was sent by Mr. Waltz. And so, I have asked IT if you all are willing to have that listserv be connected to your email. I don't know if that's a possibility, if it's personal emails, if they can be added to that. But we can figure out maybe a way to mitigate that and somehow make sure that you all are receiving the correspondence, rather than it's, your all's personal emails being given out to everyone. So we want to make sure we have a way to do that where you all can receive the emails. But, and if planning is CC'd on that, I'll also make sure that you all receive those emails.
I do feel like there was a discussion that when we moved away from planning commission emails, that there was a desire to have us added to the, but to your point, I don't know the technicality around non-town email address being, like, so,
Yeah.
If you have different listservs, it doesn't matter where the @ is going to. But I don't know how the town one, so I would really appreciate if you would take a look into that, and then at our next meeting, we can provide some clarity to everybody on what's possible, what's not possible, and then also maybe like some procedures in place if for some reason we can't be added to with our personal email addresses, what would be the best protocol for
something.
making sure that's forwarded on to
Yeah.
commissioners?
Don't you receive all the emails in planning?
If they send it to planning, but they would need to send it to planning or me individually, outside of just the planning commission email. Cause if they just send it to planning commission, there are 0 members in that. I'm not even in that. So,
So that seems to be an easy fix, though, to add, at least add you to it, so that you receive the
Make sure
emails
that-
and then you can forward them out. Then that's safe as far as security.
That's the
goes.
way I thought it was working, but apparently not.
How many emails are out there in this box?
that's something that IT hopefully will be able to find out. But I'm not sure how long it's been that way, probably since the discussion.
It's been like maybe 2 years, 3 years since we've had email, do you remember?
Probably about three, maybe
I
2 to
don't
3
remember.
years. 2 to 3.
Yeah, it's not been terribly long. Okay.
Any additional other business? Are we meeting, is there anything on the agenda for our next meeting on December 16th?
No.
Okay. So what is the next date that you anticipate planning commission coming together?
We don't have anything in the works right now that we've actually received applications for, but a lot that could possibly be coming.
You might have a really big January meeting.
It's not uncommon that sometimes we don't have a lot in January and February, and then next thing you know, March is like slammed. So there's nothing to your knowledge on the docket right now for a good January meeting? Okay, well,
Not unless you want me to schedule one specifically for you guys to address the emails and then the notification of adjacent property owners.
I'm okay having that added to a regular meeting
Okay.
unless we have like 4 or 5 public hearings in one meeting. That can get pretty extensive to also cover. All right, and what about, subcommittee meetings? Is there plans for another, comp plan meeting?
I will get back to you on that.
Okay. I don't know that we need to meet in December, but just thinking
I don't
about
think it
January.
would, yeah, probably January.
Yeah.
Anything else, commissioners? All right, well, in that case, happy holidays, because there are quite a few holidays